Colonel Russell Williams was a decorated and well respected officer in the Canadian Armed Forces until a series of shocking revelations came to light in 2010, exposing him as a serial predator. Williams' double life as a high ranking military leader and violent criminal shocked Canada, sparking widespread media attention and extensive police investigations. Russell Williams was born on March 7th, 1963, in Bromsgrove, England, and his family later relocated to Canada. Known for his intelligence and charisma, Williams excelled academically and professionally. He attended the University of Toronto, where he graduated with an economics and political science degree, and then joined the Canadian Armed Forces in 1987. Over his 23-year military career, Williams rose through the ranks, eventually attaining the position of base commander of Canadian Forces Base Trenton, one of Canada's largest Air Force bases. Known for his professionalism and strict military discipline, Williams led a seemingly flawless life. His career saw him flying numerous dignitaries, including the Prime Minister of Canada and members of the royal family. For most of his colleagues, friends, and family, he appeared as the model soldier and leader. But behind the facade, Williams kept a disturbing secret that would come to light in 2010. In late 2009, the Ontario Provincial Police were investigating a string of break ins that targeted homes in the Belleville, Ontario area, specifically those belonging to young women. During these burglaries, the perpetrator stole intimate items such as undergarments and often left strange clues that led the police to suspect a pattern of sexually motivated offenses. In November of 2009, the investigation intensified after the discovery of the body of 27-year-old Corporal Marie France Como. Como, who served in the Canadian military as a corporal under Williams' command, was found murdered in her own home. Her death was brutal, leading authorities to suspect either a personal connection or a crime of passion. Initially, the investigation did not link Como's murder to the break ins, but this would change after a series of chilling discoveries. In January of 2010, 27-year-old Jessica Lloyd went missing from her home in the small town of Tweed, Ontario. A tire track was found near her home, which led investigators to launch a roadblock, where they inspected vehicles passing through the area in search of a match. During this roadblock, police questioned Williams, who had been driving his Nissan Pathfinder. They noted the unusual tread on his vehicle's tires, which actually matched the evidence found near Lloyd's home. This discovery proved critical. The police obtained a warrant to search his home as well as a cottage he owned in Tweed, Ontario. What they found stunned them: a meticulous collection of photographs and stolen items from multiple victims. He also had carefully cataloged and hidden them away. Among the items were hundreds of pieces of women's underwear, as well as photos and videos documenting his crimes. The evidence confirmed that Williams was not only responsible for Lloyd's abduction and murder, but was also linked to the previous unsolved break ins. Following his arrest in February of 2010, Williams confessed to a series of crimes that included the murders of Jessica Lloyd and Marie France Como, as well as a dozen other break ins and sexual assaults across Ontario. His confession was startling in its detail and his lack of remorse he showed during the interrogations. Investigators uncovered hundreds of pieces of incriminated evidence, including photos and videos that documented his violent acts. Williams' crimes revealed a disturbing pattern of escalation. What began with break ins evolved into more violent and predatory actions, culminating in sexual assault, abduction, and then finally murder. In October of 2010, Russell Williams pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first degree murder, 2 counts of sexual assault, and a long list of charges related to break ins and theft. His confession and guilty plea meant that he received a life sentence without the possibility of parole for 25 years. Following his conviction, he was stripped of his military rank and dismissed from the Canadian Forces in disgrace. The military also sought to distance itself from him, publicly denouncing his actions and taking measures to prevent similar abuses in the future. The court ordered that his medals and military memorabilia be destroyed, symbolizing the ultimate rejection of a once respected serviceman who had betrayed his nation and his oath. The families of Jessica Lloyd, Marie France Como, and Williams's other victims were deeply affected by the trauma of his actions. In a bid to find justice and healing, many spoke out against the horror of his crimes. The psychological toll on his surviving victims, as well as the broader public, remained significant. Williams's crimes also led to policy changes within the Canadian Armed Forces, where security checks and psychological evaluations have become more rigorous in the wake of this case. That is the terrifying story of Russell Williams and his double life. Thanks for listening to this episode of True Crime Weekly.